Hey guys, and welcome back to another Arma 3 video. In this video I'm going to be covering 10 of what I believe are some of the more obscure mods out there, meaning either they launched with little fanfare and are still relatively unknown, or have some rare assets not found elsewhere on the workshop that are really hard to find. This is definitely not all-inclusive, as I've not been able to find all of them myself, so if you happen to know of a mod that fits this description and you think more people should know about it, comment it down below for people to see. As always, drop a JDAM on those like and subscribe buttons to help my channel grow. So with that, let's get right into the mods. At number 10, we've got Diego Garcia by Michael 007800. This is a gorgeous little island owned and governed by the United Kingdom, part of the British Indian Ocean Territory. Known as simply DG by most active military that have been there, the island serves as a critical logistics position and serves as a strategic strike launch bed for operations in southern Asia and Indo-Pacom. The island has a 2.3 mile long runway and enough ramp space to accommodate a huge amount of offensive combat air power, which has happened many times since the 1980s. I've been TDY here twice and stopped a third time for gas en route to a deployment, and I can say for certain that this is one of the most beautiful islands I've ever seen. Here's some old iPhone 6 photos taken back in 2016, the last time I was on the island, and it is beyond beautiful. Anzac SAS Steven has blessed us with a reduced Haze mod for the Diego Garcia specifically, so go ahead and pick that mod up and explore this beautiful island with it. Speaking of Steven, the number 9 spot also belongs to him with his reduced Haze Lythium edition. Steven has recently inducted many modded maps into his collection of reduced Haze mods, adding beautiful visual clarity to many terrains across the workshop. If there is a map that you would like added to this list, comment on one of his mod workshop pages and let him know which ones you'd like to see. This mod simply removes a bit of that distant haze that Arma 3 came with, which really helps your visuals pop. This has next to no effect on your frame rate and is one of the ways I get such clear visuals for my videos. Also, turning up your saturation about 10 points in the video settings will help those visuals pop a little bit more, and I really recommend it if beautiful visuals are your thing. At number 8, we've got Legends of the USSR by Mohawk. So this mod comes with 2 assets, the MiG-15, which I'm not really a big fan of personally, but you know, it's there. What I came to this mod for was that beautifully disgusting Su-17 fitter. Nowadays, this is a Cold War relic, but there's still a few being operated around the world. I've always loved this Soviet-era fighter for some reason, but this mod in particular is just dirty and super utilitarian, just like many of those old Soviet-era jets. Capable of carrying a ton of air-to-ground weaponry, the Su-17 is actually a pretty good ground attacker, but as soon as you get engaged by anything remotely competent in the air, it's pretty much lights out for you. At number 7 is the Gripen Multirole fighter by XRAM. XRAM has been knocking out tons of beautiful liveries for aircraft lately, and his page is pretty much nothing but banger mods. This mod comes with a few sexy skins for the Gripen, and even comes with the option to remove the lightning pod on the right hand side if you prefer the clean look, although the hard point still remains, so that's that. I really enjoy this aircraft in different liveries, especially the one that is similar to that of the FA-181. At number 6 is the AH-99E Mohawk modification by Delta Gamer. This attack helicopter is my go-to choice if I have to fly anything from the vanilla base game but want a modded enhancement that won't break the lore. Honestly, this thing is awesome, taking the AH-99 from a light recon, light attack role and giving it a full-on attack helicopter role. Capable of holding up to 10 ATGMs with the typical rocket payload, the AH-99E is an absolute powerhouse of an aircraft. The radar on the top is non-functioning, but it is a cool nod to the real-life Comanche program that was cancelled before it had a chance to shine. I would love it if some other vanilla helicopters got a similar treatment like this to add some variation to the gameplay. At number 5 is Cloud's Core 2035 by Schutz. So I never actually played the multiplayer FPS spin-off Argo that Bohemia tried to run with back in 2017, and I never will because it's sadly no longer available on Steam. This mod adds a faction called Clouds, which were one of the playable sides in Argo. The camo pattern and vehicle liveries are reminiscent of those days in Argo, and honestly, it looks really good. Something about this color pattern looks really utilitarian, like an even more militarized version of the UN. If you're tired of using the UN in your missions and want a faction that will actually do something in a conflict, give this mod a download and add it to your missions. They really act like their own PMC faction in a way, so there's tons of variability with mission design. At number 4, we've got CLV T62 by El Polaco. Now, I don't know why I randomly like old Soviet-era vehicles, but if I had to choose an old Soviet tank that holds a place in my heart, it's the T-64. This tank had a rocky start during its design phase in the late 1950s and early 1960s, and it was largely the reason we have the T-72 today, as the 72 was cheaper to produce. There's just something rugged and simple about this tank that made me love it. This mod features a few different paint schemes for it, but nothing super crazy. The armament consists of a 125mm main gun and a coaxial 7.62mm machine gun. And that's really it. It's simple and straightforward and to the point, just like the tank itself. If you've been looking for some old Soviet-era tanks that don't have a lot of modernization, then look no further than this. At number 3 is Arctic by Hassam Al-Maradi. Truly one of the hidden gem terrains on the Arma 3 workshop. There simply isn't anything else like it. Arctic is exactly what it sounds like, a large open terrain dominated by snow and ice. This terrain is definitely one that requires a mission maker's hand to forge something usable out of it due to the scarcity of assets on the map. You need to come into this one with a plan, otherwise you'll be wandering for a long while. Helicopters and ships will be the primary transportation on this terrain, and even though it's large enough to host fixed-wing aircraft, there isn't an airbase on the map, which is a real bummer if you ask me, but the uniqueness of this terrain is enough to warrant a place on your mod list. At number 2, we've got US Coast Guard All-in-One by Silence, Stevio UK, and Zello. I've covered their mod previously, but they have recently rolled all their mods into one single package to minimize the total mod count. This mod comes with the beautiful HH-60J Jayhawk maritime rescue helicopter, requiring the incredible H-60 hatchet mod to function completely. The mod also includes Coast Guard uniforms, vests, and helmets to completely fill that niche requirement. I'll never get tired of looking at the Jayhawk, it's fucking pretty. And finally at number 1 is MF Vehicles. This is one of those mods that you'd pass right by without a second thought, but one day I was searching for an A400M mod by simply typing it into the workshop search, and this mod popped up, and lo and behold, one of the finest examples available was in there. Created by Roland Laborie, I don't know if I got his name right, this aircraft is simply incredible. Capable of holding cargo and tons of troops, it comes with multiple liveries as well. There's also an aerial refueling variant that is a lot of fun to tank from, though you'll need an aircraft that has a refueling arm in order to mate with the refueling drogue. This mod doesn't stop at the A400 though. There's also a pretty awesome Z-10 Chinese attack helicopter randomly baked in there as well as a French Baja all-terrain vehicle that looks pretty sweet. This mod is random as hell, but it is a hidden gem that is definitely worth grabbing if you want hard-to-find aircraft. Well guys, that wraps up this video. I really hope you guys found a new mod to enjoy to eat up another 10 or 20 hours of Arma 3. As always, I'd like to thank my incredible patrons for their unending support to me and my channel. If you're watching this, you are this channel, and I can't thank you enough for your support. We're moving right along into 2023, and I've got some pretty fun projects coming up you should stay tuned for. So if you're not already subscribed, I can only highly recommend you hit that button so you don't miss out on anything coming up. Thank you all again for your time and for watching, and I will see you in the next video.